Good morning and welcome to the Nine Bowling Club in Lower Hutt for the Bowls3Five Interclub finals, and it is the title decider. The Elmwood Park Saints out of Canterbury, the Canterbury champions, taking on Manurewa, the county's Manukau champions, and beating the top of the North Island. We've had 3 rounds of round robin to get to this stage, and now to find out who are the Bowls3Five Interclub champions. Now let's go through the teams with Kevin Hickland.
So the Elmwood Park side, the feature game we've got will have Liam Ethorne and Mandy Boyd and Gary Lawson, and they'll be up against Roger Andrews, Karen Forrest and David Clark. The other Elmwood combinations, we've got Stephen Ditford, Kelvin Scott and Jan Shirley, Nathan Glasson, Bev Morell and Lance Pascoe. And the other combinations for the Manurewa side will see Steve Bicknell, Shane Drabble and Raven Rennell, Bill Jones, Sharon Perry and Nancy Wilson. But the game that we'll be bringing live to you is the game between Liam Ethorne, Mandy Boyd and Gary Lawson from the Elmwood Park Club, and they'll be playing David Clark, the David Clark skip side, along with Karen Forrest and Roger Andrews, and we'll be bringing that game live here from the Nine complex. Good crowd gathering in for this final, and Brenton, we're in for I think a magnificent final. David Clark, unbeaten of course, has played 3 from 3, hasn't even dropped a set on the way through. We watched him play Putaru in that last game, and the team overall, they were outstanding. They were consistent right throughout the game, and I'm sure we're in for a bonza here in this final.
Yeah, absolutely, and it doesn't get much tougher than playing this side, which is Gary Lawson, Mandy Boyd, and also, of course, Liam Ethorne. You've got multiple national champions, Gary Lawson and Mandy Boyd. Won everything there is to win in the game in New Zealand. Now trying to add a Bowls3Five Interclub national title, of course. And they are already in the Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, the 3rd edition, to be played later this year. And congratulations, now we can say, to the Manurewa Bowling Club. They will be joining them out of counties Manukau. They beat Point Chev, of course, the inaugural Bowls3Five on Sky Sport champions in year 1. The Auckland champs in the quarterfinals. They beat also Takapuna, the North Harbour champions. Then they did brilliantly through the 3 rounds of play here, winning all 3 rounds to make it through to this decider. And because Elmwood Park are joining them, Kevin Hickland, they are in the televised league Bowls3Five on Sky Sport to be played later in 2020.
A great achievement for the Manurewa club, of course, the Manurewa Kosi club, and now they're one of the larger clubs in the counties area. Always been a very, very strong club, as we've seen, and Roger Andrews has opened up on this very first end, drawn just in behind the jack. Liam Ethorne playing his second bowl, finishes just slightly jack low. The green running about 14 seconds. David Clark confirmed to me before the play got underway, the green running between 13 and 14 seconds. A lot of sunlight coming into the complex here at 9 now, so we might get another second of speed out of it. But at the moment, as first end, it's the Manurewa side that holding sharp, and Gary Lawson saying to Mandy Boyd, play down here on your forehand, give us a yard of weight under the head, trying to get to the jack, get some movement on it. Mandy Boyd, of course, bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games in 2014, needs to get a feather, goes by, doesn't do so.
Oh, it's just what we saw from Roger Andrews in the previous game. For those who joined us on Sky Sport Next for the 3rd and final round, we had this Manurewa triple who were unbeaten so far in the Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at the Nine Bowling Club. Won every single set, 6-0 they are here at Nine, and now trying to take on some of the very best in Mandy Boyd and Gary Lawson.
And Karen Forrest doing exactly what David Clark wanted to do, to sit on the second shot bowl, the Liam Ethorne bowl. I don't think we'll see any change though. Mandy Boyd will still play that searching weight down on that forehand side. And great to hear David Clark's relatives in the USA, nieces and nephews, have been sitting there watching the action this morning. Hope you're enjoying watching David as he watches bowl of Mandy Boyd. Getting closer this time, gets the bowl, gets a touch on the bowl, moves the Roger Andrews bowl, and we'll certainly see players with a great array of shots with these 2 combinations, Brenton.
Oh, certainly will. We'll be very surprised if the jack stays in place very often. We'll see it move around, and we'll see the full range and calibre of players for these two sides. Some very, very good players on show for us. These are the two A teams. Of course, there are 3 triples from both of these clubs that are playing in this final right now. The other 2 matches are ongoing, and we'll keep you up to date with them. So, of course, the final was contested over the 3 matches. So, regardless of who wins here, it's also important to see what happens in the other 2 rinks, and they've been played simultaneously. So, we will keep you up to date with those as well.
So the first David Clark bowl just goes by, gets a touch on the jack, and it will be Elmwood Park. The Liam Ethan bowl holding shot. Gary Lawson comes out to the side to see where he's going to play. The jack's been moved off the centre spot right to the outside of that circle. Lawson will play down on his backhand. Surveys the head on his backhand. Of course, Gary Lawson needs no introduction. We saw him earlier on this year, of course, win the National Fours, his 14th New Zealand title, 15th New Zealand title. He certainly doesn't need any introduction, and nor too does David Clark, of course, winner of New Zealand Pairs a few years back, and has certainly been a strong player around the national scene for a number of years. Very consistent draw player. And he certainly showed that in the game we watched earlier on this morning. As we watch this bowler, David Clark's just going to be on the wide side. Just going to go by Lawson running, jogging back. Of course, Mandy Boyd, we certainly know her prowess as well. And who knows, we may see her at some point in time back in the New Zealand squad on her availability. Who knows? But certainly one of the leading female players in New Zealand, without doubt.
And, of course, the runners-up on the Bowls3Five on Sky Sport in their inaugural year last year, losing the final to Stoke Thunder. So because of that, they already guaranteed a place in the 8-team lineup again this year. But they want to win another title.
Well, they certainly do. They don't come here to finish second. A very, very competitive club, Elmwood Park, and did that second bowl of Gary Lawson to finish jack level. Did it make it 2 or not? Was definitely 1. Liam Ethan placing the mat, and it was 2.
It was indeed. So Elmwood Park 2, Manurewa 0 after the first end. Opening set of 2. Of course, if you are new to the format of Bowls3Five, it's 2 bowl triples, and they're mixed triples as well. You've got to have at least 1 female player or 1 male player, both triples. And you've obviously got Karen Forrest and Mandy Boyd, the number 2s for both Manurewa and Elmwood Park. And there are 5 ends a set, 2 sets. If it's a set apiece, then we go to a tiebreaker end.
And of course, we saw in that last round the Pataru Manurewa game, I think 2 of the 3 games, in fact, went to tiebreakers. So there's every chance here in this final we'll see a tiebreak at some stage. As we watch this bowler, Roger Andrews, there's again right alongside the jack. Very consistent he has been for sure, playing that the jack right to the furthest most point here on this rink, running about 14 seconds. Liam Ethan down on his forehand, short with his first bowl, trying to improve on that by a metre. Has to get past his own front bowl, which he's going to do. He's got a good bowl here as the young Cantabrian, and just drift alongside the jack level, and that'll be shot.
Oh, great work from both the leads. Befitting of a final so far. Elmwood Park jumping out to the early 2-0 lead.
Good reply here again from Roger Andrews. It breaks towards the jack, gets a touch on the jack, moves it across to his first bowl. Magnificent bowl from the Manurewa lead. Definitely holding 1 is Mandy Boyd, the Gary Lawson number 2. The tall player, formerly of Napier, playing at the Taradale Club. Been in Canterbury now for a number of years.
And did play out of Wellington, didn't she? Out of Johnsonville.
She did, certainly did.
No doubt familiar for a lot of players in this area, of course.
This is close. This bowl just going to go past rocks. In fact, the Andrews bowl, and Karen Forrest You know, with her relatives as well, watching in Australia. He's a very accomplished player in the counties region and in national events as well. Playing down on her forehand, trying to get another bowl on the head. David Clark urging it on. He metres short. Mandy Boyd, I'm sure, will play same weight. It was the call from Lawson trying to get down to the shot bowl or the jack. A great delivery. Mandy Boyd stands tall on the mat. Gets a bowl away very smoothly on that four. Trying to get down to the jack. Close as the call from Gary Lawson as it breaks its way towards the jack. Now is it going to get the jack? Yes, it does. Well, we've certainly seen already, Brenton, in 2 ends, the jack's moved 3 or 4 times already, hasn't it, with these highly experienced, very classy players.
Well, if this is the standard that we're going to see throughout this contest, we're in for an absolute classic here. There's that one going into the ditch, and so now there's a marker that David Clark, you might have seen David Clark placing a marker to signify where the jack is in the ditch. One comes up well short from Karen Forrest. Mandy Boyd, though, after Manurewa were holding shot, changing the situation.
And it's Elmwood Park holding the shot. Well, you can see the yellow marker. There's a yellow marker on the ditch, indicates whereabouts the jack is actually located, where it lies in the ditch. Here is now Lawson on his backhand. Trying to get past the front bowls to get to accounting positions on a good line as this bowl of Lawson's. Is it going to get all the way? No, it's not.
So now David Clark try and change the situation again for his Manurewa side. As I mentioned at the top, unbeaten this triple so far here at 9i. Yesterday and today in the 3 rounds of round robin.
Lawson asking how far short his first bowl is. It's good to say he gets half a metre on that. He'll be on in counting, just got to beat his own by about half a metre, get to the Mandy Boyd bowl. On the backhand is Lawson, holding one shot. It's his second bowl on the second end of the first set of this final, of the Bowls3Five final. Definitely got better weight, this bowl of Gary Lawson's. On the wider side, though. It's not going to come all the way back. In fact, will drop towards the ditch, and it does. So David Clark may well, he can play with not a lot of weight, but he can reach up to the bowl of Mandy Boyd's. Doesn't want to lose his own out there, though, so won't be too aggressive on it. Here's Clark now on the backhand draw, trying to get up to the Mandy Boyd bowl. Has to get through this port cleanly all the way, not going to. Runs into the short bowl. There wasn't a lot of room to get through up there, actually. It was pretty tight. Just
the one.
Just confirming it was the one.
So one more to Elmwood Park. So getting off to a great start here against Manurewa in the Bowls3Five Interclub title decider here at the 9i Bowling Club in Lower Hutt. 3-0. It is now Elmwood Park over Manurewa after 2 ends first set.
Jack's been placed right down on the furthest most point of the green, onto the 2 metre mark area. So here is now Liam Ethan on his backhand, breaking down towards the head. It's going to run across the jack low by about half a metre. Now the reliable Roger Andrews, who has again started this game off well on his forehand. Trying to beat the Ethan bowl, looks to be on a good line again. This bowl of Andrews now as it just breaks down past it. That'll be the shot. Sits alongside the jack, and that you can see the rings there sitting just a bit out from the jack. So Liam Ethan now on his backhand.
There must be about 8 ends in succession now where Roger Andrews has been well within that target circle with one of his bowls.
Certainly
Gary
done his
Lawson's
job.
interested with Liam Ethorne second. It's going to be a toucher.
Magnificent bowl. Toucher. A toucher from the young lead.
Of course, earlier this morning we brought coverage on Sky Sport Next of Manurewa's third round robin match against Putararu. The same triple of Roger Andrews, Karen Forrest and David Clark running out straight set victors, helping them get to the final and clinching a place.
Look at this.
Bowls3Five on Sky Sport is again Roger Andrews, maybe a bit of fortune, but played to perfection, knocks away the shot bowl, and now it's 2.
Just got a slight feather off that front bowl, ran straight down onto the shot bowl of Liam Ethans and sat alongside the jack to leave the Manurewa side, holding 2 as we watch now. Mandy Boyd playing down towards the road end here. Looks to be on the narrow side. It might get the back bowl, gets one of them, sits alongside the other shot bowl. And because David Clark won't mind that because it's given the Manurewa side also a bowl over the head. So Karen Forrest will play down on her forehand. If she gets a touch on the jack, it's a bonus as well because they've on its way, breaking down towards the head. Don't think it's got the weight to get to that line. No, it hasn't. And Gary Lawson was indication to play down there with weight, get the ball out of the head. So certainly not frightened to attack as Lawson. So again, Mandy Boyd playing with reaching weight on her forehand. Looks to be tight on the line. And will be. So Manurewa holding the 1. David Clark indicating to Karen Forrest, draw to my rag into the second part of the ring. Another bolt on the head. Certainly got a better green with this bowl. Is going to break inside. No, it's not going to. He hasn't got the weight to. Liam Ethan and Gary Lawson having a good look at the head. As they change over on the third end with Elmwood Park leading 3-0 after two of the five ends, and this is the first set.
Of course, the 2 other matches going on in this final between Elmwood Park and Manurewa. And I can let you know that the one closest to us, in fact, both of the other matches in this final, Elmwood Park are leading 3-1 after 2 and 5-0 after 2. So all going Elmwood Park's way as they look to add a Bowls3Five Interclub title to their trophy cabinet.
Well, if you look across the 9 players, Brenton, of that Elmwood Park side, they're very, very experienced. They were national titles. They've represented New Zealand. They're a very, very experienced side. A good part of the Canterbury side comes out of Elmwood Park, so they are a very, very strong side. But, of course, Manurewa have been pretty consistent right throughout this event, and to get through to the final is a fantastic achievement. As we see David Clark with Lawson had a drive with his first bowl and was off target. So he was going to drive again here. We'll just see whether the bowl that was knocked in, whether in fact that would be third shot. If his bowl was to go out clean, what's the number going to be? What's the damage going to be? Could be one more. So Gary Lawson just saying to Mandy Boyd, 1 down's not bad. So if he doesn't get the shot, he's not too concerned. He's happy to go 1 down. And of course, playing this as well, Brendan, you're looking at the other boards. You're looking because it's an overall match. It's not just your game. It's an overall match. So you're not going to take big gambles. You're just going to, Elmwood Park got off to a good start. So here's now Gary Lawson with his second bowl on the third end, with the bowl of Roger Andrews' shot.
David Clark, his Manurewa triple, holding shot. Can he add to the count here? He's going to have to get in between in the corridor there. He's going to carry the jack, and a beautiful bowl. And that should make it 2. Confirmation of that, but what a bowl that is from David Clark. Might be a measure for 3 here, or they're happy with just the 2. They're happy with the 2. What a great final bowl. Such a small corridor for David Clark to work into, but he found it. So it's now after 3 ends of 5 first set. Elmwood Park 3, Manurewa 2. And this one of 3 final matches here in the Bowls3Five Interclub finals.
Great ball by David Clark there. Drew right onto the jack. Toucher, in fact. Just sat inside the Roger Andrews bowl. Made 2 of it. 3-2 now after 3 ends. As we see, Roger Andrews. Now, it's interesting. We've been commentating on this particular rink for 2 days, Brenton, and we spoke about it especially yesterday, the struggles on the backhand going up towards that end of the clubhouse end. And we've seen Roger Andrews, he's persisted on his forehand side and has certainly got a lot more consistency than what we saw yesterday, trying to draw on the backhand side. And that helps the team so much, because in this particular game, your lead's giving you a good start is absolutely imperative. As we watch Liam Ethan going to draw that shot, sits nearby to the jack, just in front of it. Good opening bowl from the Elmwood Park lead.
First time we've played on this rink, though, so it'll be interesting to see how rink 7 plays compared to rink 8, which has been the televised rink throughout the 3 rounds of round robin. Now for the final, we're on rink 7. So may play slightly differently, but it certainly seems like that forehand side, that left-hand side of the green, as you see there, is the favoured one, whether it be for the right-handed Roger Andrews or the left-handed Liam Ethorn, who's been playing on his backhand side down that left-hand side of the green as we see it.
It's on a good line. It's got a very good arc towards the jack. You can see 3/4 of the way down. This certainly had the line to the jack. 2 very good bowls there from the Elmwood Park lead. So we'll now see Karen Forrest will play down what is her forehand. She'll play with certainly want to play with reaching weight to get to the counting bowls or movement onto the jack. So a yard through the head. It's fine. Will be fine for David Clark. He'll be happy with that. It's on its way, and certainly playing with that weight that we spoke about. It's going to be under the line, though. Might get one of the Andrews bowls and get a bit of fortuitous rub. No, it doesn't. But does give David Clark a very handy back bowl. So you might have heard Gary Lawson saying to Mandy Boyd, play their shot. You move the jack. Because that's certainly the shot with which the Manurewa side will be endeavouring to play. So you're saying to Mandy Boyd, play on the draw, but if you can get a movement on the jack, it's not all bad. Mandy Boyd's down looking at it. Gary Lawson's down looking at it too. Going to be under the Andrews bowl. Just one turn out of it. Now I'm sure we're going to see that same sort of weight. Brendan, try and get that contact that we spoke about.
Yeah, absolutely, because if Karen Forrest is able to knock that shot bowl out, possibly, or certainly 2, maybe 3, she's narrow though. Now this one had the right weight, but too narrow. Trying to knock away that shot bowl just to the left of the jack there.
Karen Forrest then doing the fatal thing which can happen, tried to steer the bowl down the green. Thus doing so means you under green your bowl. And here's Mandy Boyd. She's got a good line here as well. Has the Elmwood Park. There's another good bowl from Mandy Boyd. And, of course, it sits down in front of the jack, which makes that run shot just that fraction harder because the bowl's sitting up, not laying on its side flat, which makes it a wee bit easier. We might see Clark attack from the other hand to try and get some contact down there.
See the Stokes Valley fans in attendance here. Of course, do join us on Sky Sport Next from 12:30 when we have the Interclub Cup final. Now that's for bowlers around the country, juniors with 1 to 5 years experience. Stokes Valley to play Papakura and that. So that's why the Stokes Valley fans have made their way down State Highway 2, some 10 kilometres max, to the Nainai Bowling Club to cheer on their triple for their final. And of course Papakura making it 2 counties Manukau sides in finals today.
And I can see that the one of those Manurewa games against is 3-2 now to Elmwood Park, and that's the Lance Pascoe game, and they've just changed the board, and it is 7-4 in the Kelvin Scott match. Elmwood Park in front in that
David
game
Clark
as well.
with a runner here.
Trying to get.
He knocks away one of the Elmwood Park bowls that was just hanging out to the left-hand side. Well, that was a non-counter anyway, so slightly off target. See what he was trying to do. Maybe he can even sit on that blue bowl, which is currently perhaps the second. Certainly at the moment Elmwood Park won, maybe won the measure.
Yeah, so the bowl rolling over, the Mandy Boyd rolling that bowl over just makes the target that much harder with the bowl sitting as it's sitting now. Before it was sitting like jack level and you could run down to the jack because the jack was clearly visible. That's now changed, just makes that shot for David Clark that much harder as he watched Lawson on the forehand. Mandy Boyd, like the weight of this one, breaks down towards the head. Is it going to have enough? No, it's not. And it's not going to get across in front of that bowl. I'm sure there David Clark saying yes, it'll have to be the other hand. Yes, it will, to get down to the trying to get to the Roger Andrews bowl and turn that.
Well, that bowl from Gary Lawson pretty much denied anything on that forehand side. A very good blocker.
So here is now David Clark on that backhand. It's on a good line trying to get to the Andrews bowl. Gets it clean, gets the... He was very, very unlucky then. He actually got the...
Oh, no, he's got the shot. He's got the shot. Mandy Boyd indicating that David Clark has done enough to get the shot.
That was well played on that backhand side at a one-bowl target to play to. So Mandy Boyd giving the instruction to Gary Lawson to play down, trying to get a roll onto the Mandy Boyd bowl. So I think the indication is that Lawson is going to play this with quite a bit of weight. Of course, the very back bowl towards the ditch is the Manurewa bowl, Roger Andrews. So if the jack was to go all the way back, and there's a good chance here, Brendan, those bowls could well lock up against one another as well because they all virtually are sitting on top of one another.
Yeah, it's interesting here. I thought that the way to go would be to play on the backhand side and just knock away the shot bowl. It would be a higher percentage, I would have thought, play than trying to turn the two into the jack and knock away the shot bowl.
So here's Lawson playing with that searching weight on the forehand, trying to get down to those bowls at the front to get some movement.
And it's going to be too wide. It's going to go past the head and into the ditch. So should be one, I believe, to Manurewa. And they certainly have the mat again. And we're all tied up here at 3 apiece between Elmwood Park and Manurewa after 4 of 5 ends. So now going into the 5th and final end of this first set. No power play called. And why would there be? Because obviously it doesn't matter how much you win a set by. It's just about winning the set. So with it all tied up, whoever wins this end wins the first set. Of course, 2 sets in Bowls3Five is how it's played. Well short there from Roger Andrews with his first. Won't be happy with that one. It's been a model of consistency over the last couple of games in the final round robin. Now in the title decider itself, the lead for Manurewa. Now Liam Ethorn for Elmwood Park, playing on his forehand side, the left-hander. We're playing to the 3rd and longest target, 2 metres from the ditch.
Well, that's the most room that we've seen left, Brenton, after both players have played their first bowl, isn't it? Because both of them have been pretty consistent, as we see.
Yeah, could that be the pressure of the deciding end as well? All to play for this end to see who wins the first set. You go a long way towards winning the match.
Bit of weight here has Roger Andrews, and he just brushes past the jack, sits virtually centimetres from the jack. So definitely the shot held by Manurewa at this point.
There's Mandy Boyd's mum and also sister watching on. Previous shot. Good to see a lot of family support here. And also from around the world, as you mentioned earlier, with David Clark's niece and nephews watching on in the United States. I hope you're safe and well over in that part of the world.
And of course, Karen Forrest's family in Australia, who we know, who are also watching. And the Mandy Boyd's mum, of course, Angela, the other sister, one of the other sisters, also represented New Zealand, silver medalist in the World Bowls, playing with Joe Edwards in the pairs in Christchurch in 2016. But their mother, she travels all around the country watching her girls in action. And, of course, Mandy Boyd's partner, Lance Pascoe, as we watch this bowl here of Boyd's trying to get to the jack, not quite. Lance Pascoe skipping, the partner of Mandy Boyd skipping as well, one of the Elmwood Park sides. 3-all as we play the last end of this, the first set, with Manurewa holding the shot.
Another great bowl from Roger Andrews. So he may have slipped up with his first, but right back to what we expect of him with his second. Laying the platform for his Manurewa side.
I can tell you the Kelvin Scott skip side, the Elmwood Park side against Manurewa, they have won the first set. I just see the red Elmwood Park sign go up. That's the game against Shane Drabble.
Yeah, I think Elmwood Park leading the other one as well.
So Gary Lawson saying to Mandy Boyd, can play down here, get down, play with weight, reaching down after Karen Forrest, but a very handy and counting second shot in behind. Here's now Mandy Boyd on the drive, trying to get to the bowls, is going to go by.
A bit of work for Gary Lawson to do here. As the skips will quickly assess the head, the situation, and make their way down to the mat.
I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Lawson play, on the other hand, running under the head, in fact, down to trying to get movement. Very hard to play to drive on that one bowl target. But we all know what Gary Lawson's capable of doing. But David Clark, of course, is equally ability to draw. Another counter here.
Gary Lawson will have the final bowl, of course, of this set, of the fifth and final end. How crucial could that be? Can David Clark, though, try and predetermine what Gary Lawson's going to play and make it very difficult for the 14-time national champion. David Clark, national champion himself in the pairs in 2001. Playing with a bit of reaching weight.
There's a very, very good bowl. Going out, he's going to move the jack as well, which sort of makes now Lawson's got no option but to play that the other hand to try and get that ultimate result down towards the jack. Here's Lawson now. Oh, he's down on that backhand. It looks to be wide. It needs a bit of luck here. He's not going to get it. David Clark again. He knows how to put the pressure on, doesn't he, Brenton? Played a superb bowl there.
Oh, absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Turns 2 into 3. Really piles the pressure on Gary Lawson. There's a reason why this Manurewa triple has not been beaten, Kevin Hicklin, so far down here at 9. 6-0 in sets, 3-0 in matches.
I think it's fair to say, Brenton, that when we get to the televised event later on this year, that these three players, I'm pretty sure, will be part of that Manurewa squad when they line up in the television event, because
certainly
they've been outstanding right throughout the 2 days here.
Of course, we've seen all the Manurewa triples, and this is the one, which is the A triple. As he's trying to replicate that shot again. Unfortunately, runs into the Mandy Boyd bowl and promotes that. And that hasn't worked out well. I think he's still holding shots. And, of course, it doesn't actually matter how much they win by, but it's maybe making the task a bit easier for Gary Lawson here.
I was just questioning that. You know, he tried to play out the back of the bowl under the head to move it out for 4. I'd just about say, did he have to? No, he didn't have to, the way how the end was sitting. And of course,
Well, they only need one.
They only need one. And of course, the other thing, which it's now done, Brenton, it's exposed the jack now for Lawson, who can change his hand to his favoured hand. He's got a 3-bowl target down there now to get to the jack. It's about percentages, really, and David Clark would be disappointed with how that actually turned out. He may well have just drawn down to the spot because he knew that Lawson was going to attack again with his last bowl, and we'll just see whether he pays the price for what I would say was just a bit of a wayward shot there from David Clark as Lawson on the mat with his last bowl of the first set down on the head. The score's all locked up 3-all. Lawson on the mat, deliberate on that run to get to the jack, and he runs into the short bowl, doesn't do so.
So a bit of a sigh of relief from David Clark. So his last bowl did not cause any damage in the end. Manurewa pick up the shot. They win the first set. So from 3-1 down in that set, they take it 4-3. Manurewa, this unbeaten triple so far of Roger Andrews, Karen Forrest and David Clark, now 7-0.
Great effort.
Bowls3Five Interclub finals here at Nainai.
Great effort because, you know, they were the Gary Lawson side scored, you know, a 2 and a 1 to get them underway in that first set, and then we saw, you know, the Manurewa side again. I come back to the play of Roger Andrews, of how he's giving that consistency. Liam Etham's playing very, very well, but Roger Andrews is just giving that consistency off the front, as we see again his opening bowl sitting right alongside the jack, just inside the circle. That's what he's doing consistently. And, of course, it's not allowing Lawson to build good heads to get good scoring opportunities. So, you know, they're playing very comfortably as a team, the Karen Forrest and Roger Andrews and David Clark. They combine him very, very well as a side. And Liam Ethan just going to skip by.
So while this first set on our televised rink has gone Manurewa's way, the other two have gone Elmwood Park's way. So that's the triple by Calvin Scott and also the triple by Lance Pascoe. So Elmwood Park 2-1 there. And these 3 triples matches which will decide this final. Of course, we already know that Manurewa are going to be taking part in Bowls3Five on Sky Sport starting in October this year. And that's because Elmwood Park are already there as runners-up from last year's competition.
And, of course, Lance Pascoe, I believe, this New Zealand title will give him his New Zealand Silver Star, I believe, which is, you know, that's a fantastic achievement. Lance Pascoe has been, as we have seen, he was in the finals, of course, earlier on this year, the Somerset National Fours, and been a very, very consistent player in the national arena, and also, of course, part of the Canterbury side, and very, very good player, the former West Coaster. And now, of course, playing in Christchurch, and certainly been, you know, very, very consistent player. As we watch his partner now, Mandy Boyd, on the mat, on the backhand with Roger Andrews holding shot. And even though those first sets have been dropped, of course, they've just got to, you know, there's still every opportunity for Manurewa. You win the second set, you got a chance at the tiebreaker. So the great thing about this game is that you do have the second set. You still have a chance. You're not out of it because you've lost the first set.
Yeah, we will have the conclusion to find out who has won the Bowls3Five Interclub title. Obviously, this will decide a long way to what will happen this match here, but we will find out before we leave you what happens in the other games as well. We endeavour to speak with a member of the champion team as well, be it Elmwood Park or Manurewa.
So Andy Boyd again on that backhand. It looks to be, and it's interesting, Brendan, I've seen now 3 bowls on this hand. This end being played there, and just like you saw yesterday, each one of them down underneath the head. Where it's mind over matter. I know we're on a different rink, but it's we certainly haven't seen the consistency of the draw on the backhand as we have on the forehand side, or the backhand going the other way as well. And it may well just be mind over matter.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be. If you're not quite on the perfect line, on that channel, if you're if you're inside it, you're going to come under the head. If you're just a bit outside it, it's going to pretty much hang out there. A lot of the players have been just a touch narrow, and you can see all those bowls over on the left-hand side of the screen. And we're going to see another one.
Another one.
This time from David Clark. So it's not going to end up too poorly, just outside the circle and short. Didn't quite have the weight either.
Gary Lawson will follow, no doubt. David Clark bowl on his backhand, trying to get down to the shot bowl.
Well, it's the scrappiest end we've seen, isn't it, really? Roger Andrews the only bowl in that target circle. That's about to change, though, because Gary Lawson
draws the shot, does he?
Yeah, I think
so.
Yes,
it is. Yeah, Mandy Boyd indicating that's definitely the shot. Now, David Clark can afford to reach that bowl on the backhand. Gets a touch on the jack, it's not too bad. Play with weight to make sure it holds up on that line, that similar line to the Gary Lawson bowl. That's exactly what he's doing. He's playing with that weight to make sure the endeavours to reach the Lawson bowl. It's on a good line to it as well. It's just, and he goes through the gap.
Very unfortunate there. You see the oohs and ahs here at 99 Bowling Club, because everyone thought that was in a good channel. Somehow found its way between the shot bowl and the jack. Now a chance here for Gary Lawson to turn it into two, to give Elmwood Park the ideal start to this opening set, especially given that Manurewa held shot for the majority of this end.
Well, Gary Lawson got on that wider line, and is he going to get a touch on the jack? No, he's not. Just goes by.
Good effort, but it's just going to be the one, I believe. Still, it's 1-2 Elmwood Park, so they draw first blood in this second set. After, of course, as you see on screen there, Manurewa won the opening set 4-3 after trailing 3-1.
And we are going to see at some point in this set as well, of course, the tiebreaker will come into effect from both Elmwood Park and Manurewa.
The power play.
Yeah, power play.
And maybe we'll get to a tiebreaker if Elmwood Park win the second set, of course. So if it is tied up at a set apiece, we go to a tie-break end. But there are power plays available to both sides. So what that means is whatever you score on that end, it's doubled. You have to, of course, announce your power play at the start of the end.
So we've seen now a shortened up length chosen by Liam Ethorn. He's up on the front circle, and the mat was up on is right up as well.
Yeah, so the shortest possible length of 23 metres. I think that's the first time I think we might have seen this at all, Kevin, throughout our 2 days of commentary, 3 rounds, and now the final, that playing to that shortest length, shortest spot, and also bringing the mat right the way up. I certainly can't recall it. Majority of the lengths have been the full length or that middle length, but deciding to mix things up, Elmwood Park, and maybe try and throw especially the lead player, Roger Andrews, off his game.
Well, yes, it's the first time I've seen us play that length for over the 2 days, Brenton, and we did see Roger Andrews with his first bowl. Did fall slightly short, but we've also seen him adjust so consistently right throughout, as trying to beat down past that Liam Etham bowl. Has to get past his own. He's not going to fall short. He'll be disappointed with that, because that certainly hasn't been the standard he's set. Now Mandy Boyd on the backhand. As we said earlier, skipped the New Zealand fours side at the Glasgow Commonwealth Games, winning bronze medal along with Selena Smith, Amy McElroy and Val Smith. He won the bronze medal. Falling short did Mandy Boyd. So now Karen Forrest, the number 2 for Manurewa, playing her forehand, trying to draw past the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 short bowls there. It's going to go by. It's interesting, isn't it, Brendan? We haven't seen this length played, and no one has got.
It's throwing everyone.
No one's got there at all, have they?
No, it's certainly been different. We've seen that. The mat has been often brought up to the furthest possible mark, but we've not seen the jack spotted on the shortest possible target. Of course, another quirk of Bowls3Five, that the jack isn't rolled down the green. It is spotted by the team who won the previous end. Elmwood Park, having won the previous end, electing to go short.
Mandy Boyd running into one of the Liam Ethan bowls, just pushing it past the head. Karen Forrest will persevere on her forehand down towards the road end here at Nainai. This magnificent complex here in Nainai certainly is, I think, is credit to the all involved, because going to get a feather in the shot. Yes, it will.
Got some fortune there, didn't she, Karen Forrest? But she'll take it. Well played, getting that little touch off one of the short bowls, sliding towards the jack, and that'll now be the shot. Manurewa holding. I was about to say, before that first bowl, the tactics probably worked for Elmwood Park, because it has thrown Roger Andrews off his game. He failed to get one in the target area for pretty much the first time this match. Yet there goes the number 2 for Manurewa. She gets inside that target circle, now holding shot for the county's Manukau champions.
Here's Gary Lawson trying to get down past the Roger Andrews bowls, gets a touch on the jack, moved it all the way back, and in fact will lay now holding 2, just got a touch on the side of the jack, and it goes back to the Liam Ethorn bowls, and the Lawson bowl, which continued on through the head, and will lay 2. David Clark, though, has got a good metre, a couple of metres to draw the shot in. It's on its way now, is the Clark bowl, and looks to be on a pretty good line. This bowler, David Clark.
What a look bowl at that from David Clark. And the crowd in attendance here at Nainai loving that.
Front toucher, well played. Jack had been moved off the centre line.
Wasn't just happy with, you know, getting it within a metre or within a foot. No, I'm going to draw a front toucher. Fantastic bowling from David Clark, and I think Gary Lawson is enjoying this battle.
Well, I've known one another a long time. In fact, I'm pretty sure a long time ago would have both played for Auckland in the representative scene when David Clark was playing at Papatoetoe, and of course Gary Lawson was playing out of the Carlton Club. Here's Lawson now on the search, looking for the bowl, trying to get the David Clark bowl. Have a look at this. Rocks the bowl.
Great effort from Gary Lawson. Very unfortunate not to knock away the shot bowl there. Just got a piece of it. And now an opportunity for David Clark to turn this into 2. He's got lots of room to work in. Doesn't need to get as close as he got with his first. Within a metre will do. And it looks like he's done exactly that. Oh, he's done more than that. That's a brilliant bowl. He's going to sit alongside the other one. An absolute exhibition from David Clark. So Manurewa now on the board in this second set, 2-1. Well, they now lead Elmwood Park.
I can tell you as well in the other game, the Lance Pascoe game, 2 ends gone in the second set, and it's Manurewa, in fact, who are leading 5-0. 5-0 they're leading. That's the Shane Drabble. No, it's not the Shane Drabble skip side, sorry. It's the side skip by Sharon Perry. They're, in fact, leading 5-0. And I can't see the other.
3-0 to Elmwood Park, and that's the Calvin Scott skipped triple.
So the little light shining there for Manurewa in that second game. So this complex here at Nainai, for those who don't know where it is, it's around by the Nainai pools. It's a complex that was completed, I'd say, around about 5 years ago in conjunction with the Nainai Club, the council, and it's certainly it's a world standard complex here, Brenton, isn't it? You know, with the outdoor greens, indoor complex, it certainly it provides everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and with, of course, everything that's happening around the world, with the lockdown, etc., pushing this event back to when it is now. Being able to play in the start of August, having a venue like this is absolutely fantastic. Wouldn't be possible, of course, although it's a lovely day it's turning out to be in the Hutt Valley.
Another good bowl here from Andrews. He just skips past the jack, and there's no doubt the drawing prowess of this Manurewa side. That certainly they've got a very, very consistent with their draw play. No doubt about that. No, that's why, as Brenton said before, so far to date they haven't dropped a set right throughout this event, which is an amazing achievement. And we'll see this bowler, Liam Ethorn's, fall short. So Karen Forrest now will play on her forehand. The jack right back on the furthest most point.
Oh, you can see that the jack's been brought back to the furthest point, as Kevin just mentioned. So in the end, Elmwood Park's gamble to go short didn't work. Manurewa picked up the couple of shots on that second end, and now they've given the jack back to Manurewa, who are in their more comfortable length, going to the 2 metre spot from the ditch.
So here comes the Mandy Boyd bowl on this, the third end of the second set. Has to get past the Andrews bowl, just going to pull up in front of it, doesn't quite get all the way. So David Clark saying to Karen Forrest, there's plenty of room still on that forehand side to draw in between the Mandy Boyd bowl and the Roger Andrews bowls. Looks to have better weight as it goes past us here. Is it going to get all the way up to the counting area? It has to get past the Andrews bowl. Is it going to? No, it's not. But it's just tightening things up on that side to get to the jack as well. So the call from Gary Lawson is, if you beat your bowl by a foot, you could have shot, or else change your hand to the open draw on the back end, which looks... So I'm going to play with weight reaching down through the bowls. On the back end, there's Mandy Boyd on its way, trying to get to these bowls. Oh, the jack missed it just.
Well, we saw Gary Lawson very unfortunate at the previous end. Now Mandy Boyd just mere millimetres away from taking the jack this time. They've got the back bowls.
They have to, with the Liam Ethan bowl, which sits back down towards the under the number 7. Gary Lawson applauding that great effort from his number 2, Mandy Boyd. David Clark and Karen Forrest having a conversation to see what to do. As David Clark makes his way back. Been very, very, very consistent, has David Clark. And we saw that last end, Brendan, we drew 2 bowls within centimetres, weren't they? Front toucher, and then the other one just a couple of centimetres away. So here is now David Clark, the Manurewa skip.
And that was his first time playing that length as well. It's
Certainly
not like
was.
he had played to that 23 metre length previously, minimum required. Done it absolutely expertly. So he's got a bit of cover in there.
Happy with that, because if Gary Lawson plays that same shot which Mandy Boyd played, he'll want to get some cover back there.
Slight difference in the shot coming from Gary Lawson as he runs into the short bowl that time. So still Roger Andrews holding shot.
Big change in that Lance Pascoe game, by the way. Obviously Elmwood Park must have called their power play, and now 8-5 to Elmwood Park.
So they got a 4 on their power play. Wow, huge in the context of this whole final, isn't it? Because they won the first set in that match, Elmwood Park, that Kevin's talking about. So Elmwood Park on track to win the Bowls3Five Interclub title regardless of what happens here, because they're ahead in the other 2 matches.
So David Clark draws another shot. Here's Gary Lawson again, searching, playing down with his forehand, trying to get down to the jack of the bowls. And going through, gets the jack. Have a look at that from Lawson. The Liam Ethan bowl goes back. The 2 Gary Lawson bowls sit at the back of the
3, I think. Yeah, 3 signalled there by Karen Forrest. So a big bowl that from Gary Lawson. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. And now turning that 2-1 deficit into a 4-2 advantage after 3 ends. Now power play has been called by David Clark for Manurewa.
Just sorting out what that score was.
Yeah, it certainly was a 3. We saw a 3 indicated by Karen Forrest from Manurewa. So 4-2. It is now to Elmwood Park. 2 ends remaining in the second set. Manurewa won the opening set 4-3. And we're down 3-1, so wouldn't count them out in the second set either. And they have called their power play. So if they score Manurewa, it'll be doubled to 2. Opportunity to take a big step towards putting the first point on the board in the final for Manurewa.
And of course they've gone back to have Elmwood Park to that shorter length. They've brought the mat right up to the furthest most point, and the jack's been delivered on the shortest length. And Liam Ethorn has responded just to what his skip wanted and has drawn alongside it. Here's now Roger Andrews just going to go past by about a metre. But we saw, there's a fantastic shot we just saw from Gary Lawson, just the quality, the shot array that he's got. That's why, double world champion in 2008, and of course was to be part of the New Zealand side at the World Bowls, which was to have been played at Broadbeach, and who knows when that will be. I think we might be looking at November of next year where we'll be there, but unknown at this point in time as we watch Roger Andrews on his forehand. And Liam Ethorn has given what Gary Lawson wants to try and defend the power play from Manurewa, but a good response here from the lead. Just going to pull up short. It's always good on the opposition power play, isn't it, Brendan, when the non-power play side puts the pressure on right from the start. It just makes it better for them. They defend their power play. Obviously, you've seen in that Lance Pascoe game a good use of the power play by Elmwood Park over there, so it can certainly be an effective way of turning a game around. So David Clark saying to Karen Forrest, play down here on your forehand, try and reach through the Roger Andrews bowl and get to the jack. Looks to be on the wide side. It is going to get the Roger Andrew bowler, rolls it in for shot, sits alongside.
Oh, well done there, Karen Forrest. It was one of the options David Clark spoke about. Either get a little touch and trail to the jack or promote the Roger Andrews bowl, and that's exactly what Karen Forrest did.
Yeah, Mandy Boyd will play with weight to try and dislodge the shot bowl, and his hand close to it, gets the bowl clean. Magnificent bowl by the number 2. Mandy Boyd sat the bowl out clean, sat alongside it.
Well, it's been bowls of the highest standard, hasn't it, in this final. It's great to see from the 2A sides from Manurewa and also Elmwood Park. They've been putting on a show time and time again. It hasn't just been the 2 high-profile skips, David Clark and Gary Lawson. Great lead play from Roger Andrews. Moments of brilliance from Karen Forrest, just right on cue. And Mandy Boyd's been outstanding too for Elmwood Park. Wow. So she grabs the shot back for Manurewa, of course, on their power play.
So Karen Forrest came down on that backhand with that yard of weight and split both of the Liam Ethorn bowl and also that of the Mandy Boyd's bowl. So we saw from both the number 2s there, 2 fantastic shots, turned the head around. So at the moment, with, of course, Manurewa holding the 1, if they were to hold on to that, that's equivalent to a 2, of course. David Clark, he'll be trying to take every opportunity, but he knows he's up against it with Gary Lawson. Here's Lawson now on his backhand. Smooth delivery of Lawson's on the backhand, trying to get down to the shot bowl, getting past the Liam Ethorn bowl. Is he going to sit on the bowl? Rocks what is the shot bowl. Wasn't very far away, Brendan, from getting the ideal result.
Yeah, certainly wasn't. Was in the area, and he's going to get another opportunity, of course. I expect him to deliver next time round, but can David Clark make that task just that wee bit tougher? A skip for Manurewa.
We saw him draw 2 shots going down this way before. It's going to be short, though, with this bowl. In before, when they played down this way, David Clark, of course, drew 2 shots.
Yeah, this is playing the same length, the shortest possible length. This time didn't quite have the touch. I suppose you can excuse him to not be perfect. Rare miss from David Clark. Andy Boyd just pointing out how much room Gary Lawson actually does have to try and draw the shot. Takes his time on the mat. Now, again, trying to replicate his previous shot. Looks to be in a decent area. Is it just going to come back inside that circle? If it falls in, I think it's enough anyway at the moment. So that'll be the shot.
Yeah, indication from Karen Forrest that that's the shot.
David Clark wants to have a look. He knows how important this is. This is their power play end, of course. They need one here to make it level going into the fifth and final end, second set. Which would take out the possibility of a drawn second set if it is all level going into the last. Of course, Elmwood Park needing to win this second set to force a tiebreaker end.
David Clark will play like Gary Lawson. He'll play on his backhand, try and sit inside what is the shot bowl or to get a touch on the jack. Here's Clark on his backhand in the short end. Karen Forrest, she's looking at this closely as it breaks towards the jack. Got a roll on the bowl.
Unfortunate, so it's going to be one to Elmwood Park. Killing the power play end of Manurewa. So David Clark was in the area, but not quite close enough. So it should be 5-2 now after 4 ends of 5, second set. Elmwood Park still to call their power play, which no doubt assume they will call.
Presume it's going to come now. So Gary Lawson going for the full length.
Limiting the chance, of course, of a big number. I think the plan is here.
So here's Liam Ethan.
Because, of course, Manurewa, they need a 3. 5-2 is the score in Elmwood Park's favour after 4 ends of 5, second set. Manurewa, a draw will be good enough for them, having won the first set.
So Roger Andrews on the mat. We see it's playing, as we said, right to the furthest most point. And Roger Andrews has been very consistent, but he's going to fall short this time. Just that change, continuously changing the length backwards and forwards, end after end. Just having to adapt, of course.
Yeah, thrown out of his rhythm a bit there, perhaps, but I'll be very surprised if he's not back within that target circle with his second bowl of this fifth and final end, second set.
And Elmwood Park leading 3-1. I can see on the over there in the far game, and Jan Shirley has got the mat, so that would indicate that things are looking pretty good for Elmwood Park. As we watch this bob of Roger Andrews, just going to go by the jack.
Yeah, runners up, of course, and Bowls3Five on Sky Sport last year. Now trying to win the National Interclub title.
Well, when we get to the televised event, it's I think it's a fair assumption that the 6 players that we're watching out here are going to be playing for Elmwood Park. These are the 3 players here, and the 3 players here representing Manurewa. They'll certainly be part of the televised team as well. So 2 very, very good sides. We've seen that. And, of course, the difference is, of course, when we get to the televised event, you're not carrying a team of 9. I see shake hands time in one of those matches over there, which is a win to the Cantabrians. So we go from 9 to 3, of course, for the televised event. As we see now, Karen Forrest trailing 5-2 is Manurewa.
Yeah, I get the feeling maybe that it's shake hands in both matches over there. I believe it is. So, Elmwood Park, well, that should do it. they are your national Bowls3Five Interclub champions.
Well, they certainly came into this event, Brenton, as rightly the favourites with the quality within their lineup, and of course already been part of the Bowls3Five televised event. They've certainly got a quality squad here of their 9 players, no doubt about that. And national title holders, national representatives, Canterbury players, very, very strong side, and deserved their favouritism going into this event. But in saying that, Manurewa have certainly been, I think, they've done exceptionally well to get where they've got to, and they've, although they are struggling now and are not going to win the title, they've certainly been worthy finalists and have been pretty consistent right throughout the 2 days of these finals.
Yeah, unfortunately there we saw a wrong bias from Karen Forrest coming at such a crucial time. 5th and final end, 5-2 down at Manurewa.
So here is now Gary Lawson. He's got a metre and a bit to draw the shot, which is plenty of room for him. We've seen him play some big conversion bowls here. Here is Lawson getting through, just drifting through, getting a feather on one of the bowls, and he'll make shot of it.
Elmwood Park already celebrating. They've won 2 out of the 3 matches already. Now this is the 3rd and final match to be completed. Can they make it a clean sweep? Of course, if they do hold on, win this 2nd set, we will be going to a tie-break end. Fitting end.
Will they?
To the Bowls3Five Interclub finals.
They might just shake hands.
Yeah, I think they're going to play out for us.
Okay, so
that was the initial agreement.
So we're going to a tie-break as we watch David Clark trying to get down to the Lawson bowl.
And promotes one of the Mandy Boyd bowls.
On the back of Mandy Boyd bowl. So it'll be 2 shots to the Elmwood Park side. Because Elmwood Park, a bit of an interesting story. They were, of course, Elmwood was one of the clubs that got grossly affected by the earthquake, the Christchurch earthquake, where they lost some of their facilities, lost a green. And a group of guys got together, guys and ladies got together, and have rejuvenated now the Elmwood Park Club. And here they are now. They've got some of the best players in the country all now playing at Elmwood Park, and full credit to them for what they've achieved. As we watch this bowl of Gary Lawson's just get a feather, will sit jack level. Not sure if it counts or not. Is there a 3? No, there's not a 3 anywhere, David.
Yeah, he's asking that because that's what they need. Manurewa, they need to draw this 2nd set to win the match.
And no, there's no 3 there.
Unless you hit and hope, run into the short stuff and get quite a bit of luck, which I think was one of the options there.
And they finished up with 1.
They finished up with 1. So 5-3 2nd set. Do they play the tie-break in? I assume they will, or will they just call it quits there? But 5-3 2nd set to Elmwood Park. So it's a set apiece. And what is the dead rubber match, because Elmwood Park have already won the other 2. So congratulations, Elmwood Park. They are the Bowls3Five National Interclub champions, who won 2 of the 3 matches. But we will play the tiebreaker end to decide this match. Can Elmwood Park make it a clean sweep? Or can Manurewa, this incredible Manurewa triple, finish perfect here at the Bowls3Five Interclub finals at Nainai?
That's the first set that they've lost in the 2 days, that 2nd set against Elmwood Park. And, you know, it's a mighty effort what they've done to date. And so, you know, it'd be fitting if they could pull this tiebreaker off, because they've been the form side, Brendan. This combination, this Manurewa side, they have been. And look at this, a front toucher from right in front of the jack sits the first bowl. So they've been the form triples in this event.
Yeah, certainly have. Roger Andrews has been very consistent off the front. Bit of a slow start in the round 3 match we covered against Pataru, but since then he's been almost automatic off the front. And with Karen Forrest, a very accomplished player, and David Clark, time and time again, come
Not
up
to
with
be
big
outdone
shots.
as Liam Ethorn. He draws right alongside the jack on this tiebreaker in. And that'll see Roger Andrews will change his hand and play down, trying to rest on the Liam Etham bowl, which is shot sitting alongside the jack. You can see it clearly there, as it looks as though it's just going to go outside it. Certainly played with weight to reach. And now Gary Lawson's own play there, down there again to Liam Etham. If you get a touch on the jack, move the jack back, takes the shot away from the Manurewa side. And that's the really good thing about players like Lawson. They keep looking to play the shots to negate the opposition. It's not so much about building the head, it's about getting control. And that's what makes Gary Lawson such an outstanding skip, because he's quite happy for the jack to move around. He's got the faith in his other players that they can draw, but what he wants to be able to do is to negate it for the opposition. And that's the sign of, well, he is a champion, we know that. As we watch Karen Forrest now trying to reach the jack, and the shot bowl bounces all the way back to the Roger Andrews bowl, and there it is. You can see that's just about unbeatable.
Yeah, brilliantly done by Karen Forrest.
Oh, I thought there was a touch that had gone and back in the ditch. No, it's not. So there's you'll see the jack sitting.
There's a toucher in the ditch.
Where did the Karen Forrest bowl, of course, that's, oh, there it is. You can see the yellow marker there. That indicates where the Karen Forrest bowl is sitting. So, Mandy Boyd, the former international, be great to see you back in New Zealand side. Look at this. How far is it going to run towards the jack? Is it going to get enough run on it?
Not quite,
no,
I don't think. Maybe a yard more, certainly a foot more of weight might have been in contention. And you can see that yellow marker where David Clark's standing in front of. That's where the shot bowl is. You can see that jack right in front of the 7-rink marker.
So David Clark indicating you've got plenty of room down here. Karen, play down here on your forehand. Get past all the short bowls, which he's going to do. Draw down towards the jack. How far is it going to come back? Come back as far as you wanted. Mandy Boyd will persevere on her backhand. Beat her own bowl. Would be close to having shot. The jack's the shot bowl, of course, sitting in the ditch where the yellow marker is. As we watch this bowl of Mandy Boyd's, this got right into Liam Etham bowl. Was on a good line. You can just see the top of the Karen Forrest bowl under the yellow marker there. That's the shot, as indicated by the two skips in this tiebreaker. Remembering, of course, Elmwood Park have already won this National Fives Interclub final with winning the other two games against the Manurewa. But of course, Manurewa will still feature in the televised event. Has been the runner-up.
Yeah, because Elmwood Park, of course, already invited back as last year's runner-up in their inaugural year on Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, which will be returning in October. Very much looking forward to that. There'll be a few changes, but more action-packed bowls on Sky Sport coming through October, November and early December. It's now time for the two skips. The last four bowls of this Bowls3Five Open Interclub title decider. Elmwood Park have already won two of the three matches, trying to make it a clean sweep. The Bowls3Five on Sky Sport runners-up from last year. Well, Manurewa, this incredible triple of Roger Andrews, Karen Forrest and David Clark, trying to remain unbeaten in the Bowls3Five Interclub finals. As David Clark runs into a few of the short bowls. So Gary Lawson with his first opportunity. David Clark unhappy with his first, will get another chance. Now trying to draw towards the ditch. And the jack, as you can see right at the bottom of the screen, just sitting right in front of the ditch. The yellow marker above the Elmwood Park name is where the shot bowl is at the moment.
And there it is, drawing the shot as Gary Lawson threaded the needle through the short bowls. Finishes just under the jack.
And David Clark has a chance to respond. And Gary Lawson will have the final say if he needs to use it. And the fifth and final end, the tiebreaker end of this Bowls3Five Interclub final. David Clark, understandably, taking his time on the mat. If he doesn't draw the shot, Elmwood Park complete a sweep of the final.
Clark trying to play through on the back end, play through the bowls like Gary Lawson did, trying to get to the Gary Lawson bowl. Has to get clear that bowl. Does not do so, and that is it.
That'll do it. Shake hands time. Elmwood Park complete a clean sweep of the Bowls3Five Interclub finals in a tiebreaker. They win it 1-0, and they are your Bowls3Five Interclub champions for 2020. Over to Kevin Hickland as I'll make my way onto the green to speak with the champion side.
Well, we certainly saw the class of this Elmwood Park side, who have won the final by 3 games to 0 over that of Manurewa. So we had the 3 skips from the Elmwood Park side. Lance Pascoe winning his game, as did, of course, the Kelvin Scott skip side. And then we saw that fantastic tiebreaker game with Gary Lawson up against David Clark. And, of course, that's the first defeat that the David Clark side of Manurewa have had in this particular event. They've been playing superbly right throughout. And Brenton Van Nistelrooy is about to have a conversation, have a chat with Gary Lawson, who just won that particular tiebreak game. So I'll pass you over to Brenton Van Nistelrooy to talk to the winning skip, Gary Lawson.
Yeah, now joined by Gary Lawson, the successful skip from the Elmwood Park Saints. Well, of course, you're already part of Bowls3Five on Sky Sport, but win the National Winter Club, what does it mean for the team?
Oh, unbelievable for the club. Like everyone's just so focused and great spirit. And you know, it's one of the great events, you know, and for our club to win it is like awesome. Like, you know, it doesn't matter that we're already in it. Like, this meant a lot to us, and the team's happy, you know, and tried hard, and like, it's great for us.
And to do it in the way that you did as well. David Clark's triple hadn't lost a match, hadn't even dropped a set at 9i to do it in that fashion as well.
Well, they beat us yesterday 4-3, 4-3, you know, 2-zip. So you know, to come back today, he's a good player, and they're going to be worthy competitors on the TV event. So no, well done to them, and happy. But you know, for us, you know, Lance Pascoe, 5th silver title, you know, so we were playing for him out there, and awesome.
Yeah, does it show the true depth that you've got across all 9 players as well to complete a sweep in the final?
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, the club just, the depth was unbelievable. You know, our ladies played fantastic, you know, like Mandy Boyd, like seriously, how good was she? She was amazing. And but all, you know, we've just got good depth, but it's all about growing the spirit. And I think Bowls3Five is just a great concept. And I mean, the crowd today have been awesome, and you know, and hopefully the young fellas from Stokes Valley can get up, you know, the Bryans, and you know, because they're all here to watch them. But it's been fantastic, and it's a great event.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back at Auckland in October.
Cheers, Brenton. Cheers.
Gary Lawson there joining us now, joined by David Clark. Unfortunately, the unsuccessful skip in the final, but Manurewa are going to Bowls3Five and Sky Sport later this year. How amazing is that for the club?
It's amazing. We've now got to think of a name. I guess that's one of our major things here. Really proud of the team this weekend, Brendan. We had a great support come down, family, friends, people from counties that weren't even part of Manurewa were all here. The guys have just played fantastic, great for the club, you know, really, really good. When we announced that we were coming down at the Cosy Club a few weeks ago, great support from the Darts Club, the Bowls, everything, you know, so it's been really, really enjoyable. And the Bowls3Five format's proving itself time and time again, you know, club spirit's what it's all about here this weekend.
Yeah, because it's fair to say you would have been one of the more unfancied side coming here, and probably not as much expected nationally, but to achieve what you have and to get that illustrious place on the televised league, huge.
Yeah, it is, and you know, everyone at home will be watching on TV, which is fantastic, to Sky Sport. I mean, we really appreciate the coverage that they give, and we've been watching it for a couple of years, and we're there now, you know, so that's very unexpected for us. But little old Manurewa achieved again, and for the county centre, you know, small centre in New Zealand, struggling a little bit, but hey, we can foot it with the best.
And for your triple, David, as well, supreme over the weekend. Only way you were beaten is a tiebreaker end.
Yep.
That's the only time over the 2 days. It got it clicking. That's going to be your trio, you think, come Bowls3Five on Sky Sport?
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of that decision. You know, it's a big club, but we're just going to go back and regroup and see what we do about that. We've got a lot of work to do with Aaron and Bowls New Zealand on how we handle that. Really unlucky on that last end. That jack was going in the ditch and one of our bowls stopped it going through. But you know, we were real close. And to play against Gary and the team, we know how strong they are. Played for New Zealand. You know, we're really proud to have held our own. It's real good.
Well, congratulations once again. We look forward to seeing you in October.
Thanks, Brendan. Thank you, everybody.
It's David Clark from the ultimately successful Manurewa side, who are through to the Bowls3Five on Sky Sport. Coming in October, make sure you join us back then for the televised league in October through November and into December. Manurewa, the 8th side, but it is the Elmwood Park Saints who have taken out the Bowls3Five National Interclub. We'll see them all back in again later in the year.